Fine. Hello, welcome to your vinyasa practice. Today we're going to start out in a child's pose. And so if knees are kind of sensitive or if they don't flex all the way, like if hips have a hard time getting to the heels, first of all, know that's okay. And second of all, you can always add props. Like for example, if there's a lot of space between the sits bones and the heels, or the back of the thighs and the calves, you could place a rolled up blanket or a few in between that space. Okay, so make sure that you're supporting your body in the way that you need to. And in this variation of child's pose, I'm going to give you the option of elevating the elbows onto a prop. You could take pillows or couch cushions and stack them right about where the elbows would rest as you stretch the hips back towards the heels. And in this variation, the elbows are kind of stretching forward so the triceps are lengthening. You could, if you wanted to, start to release your head, your ears between your biceps towards the mat. And then you can bend at the elbows and let the hands rest at the back of the skull, like the base of the neck. So there's this encouraging of opening the chest, the armpits, the triceps, the front of the rib cage as you settle in here. Okay, so that's just one option. Of course, you can always just take a more traditional approach to child's pose. You don't have to elevate the elbows. Wherever you are, whatever your body is doing, let's take 3 breaths here. If you've got your elbows bent, start to extend your arms forward. You can shift into a tabletop shape. You can move if you've added props, you can move those out of the way off of your mat. We'll head towards tabletop and start to move through some cat and cow. Get a little bit more movement in between the vertebrae and the rib cage. I'm just starting to articulate the spine. Notice how it feels. And then maybe you sync breath to the movement. Typically, it's suggested that you inhale as you find that back bend shape, and you exhale as you find that rounding of the spine towards the ceiling. But you can always play with switching that up. Maybe you exhale into your back bend. Maybe you inhale into the cat shape. Let's take 3 more rounds of cat-cow. And then we'll sit back on the heels for a moment. We'll warm up the wrists before we head into weight-bearing things like down dog and high plank. So reaching the arms up for the ceiling, you're just going to flick your fingers towards the ceiling like you're trying to dry some water from your hands. I'm kind of taking this opportunity to do a little toe sit with my toes curled under and moving the weight back towards my heels, and I'm just opening the soles of the feet. That can be a lot though, so you can always stand up on your knees if the weight on the heel bones is too much. Let's take one more breath here, flicking the fingers. And then exhale, release the arms. Just let them swing a few times. Okay, one more time, we're gonna reach the arms up, and this time we're just gonna try to clap our own hands. So getting the back of the forearm and the front of the forearm, all those stabilizing muscles around the wrist joint and the fingers, really good for strengthening and building muscle and agility here. And it burns, right? That's the muscles firing. It's a good thing. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, relax the arms, swing them out side to side. We're gonna come forward now into a tabletop. Setting up for your first downward facing dog. First, spread your fingers wide, press down through the entire circumference of the palm. And you spin the biceps forward and then tuck the toes under. You're pressing the floor away as you lift the hips up and back. Head relaxes between the biceps. Feel free to move around here, bending the knees, swaying the hips if you like, shaking the head out. Finding that deep belly breath. So the format for our practice today will be moving through some half sun salutations with lunges, some full sun salutations, some standing shapes with balance, a little bit of floor work, shavasana, and then we'll change our breath pattern. So we'll focus on a different type of breathing towards the end of the class. Let's inhale and shift forward and find high plank. And as you shift forward and find high plank, recommit to that palm being flat, pressing the floor away. See if you can get a slight round to the upper back. Squeeze your quads away from the knees and hug your navel into your spine. Deep breath in, get long from the crown of the head to the heel bones. Breath out, set your knees down, come all the way to the belly. Walk your wrists back an inch or so, tuck your chin in and rest your forehead down. Inhaling, press into the tops of the feet, the palms of the hand, and lift the chest. Exhaling, lower, release. Just twice more like that low cobra. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. One last time, press the floor away, lift the heart. Exhale, release back to the floor. Curl the toes under. You can either choose to press up to high plank or tabletop, and then back to downward facing dog. 3 breath cycles here. On your next inhale, we're stepping the right foot forward between the hands. You can either set the knees down and then step the right foot forward, or you can just step that right foot forward from downward facing dog. All right, so in our low lunge, our left knee is on the mat. Right foot is planted in front of you, right between your hands. Press into that right foot, lift your chest and back your hips up until you feel everything kind of stack in one vertical line. Now let's add on the arms. We'll reach the arms up and overhead, just like you maybe did in child's pose. Option to bend the elbows. You can nestle the heels of the palms right behind the base of the neck. Press the back of the head into the heels of the hands if that's there. Press the chest forward. Maybe lift the gaze. See if you can engage your left glute as you move your hips forward just slightly. Let's take one full breath here. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, release the hands. Plant those palms. Step back into high plank. And then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Second side, you're shifting forward and either coming down to the knees and then stepping left foot forward, or you're just simply stepping left foot between the hands from down dog. Get the sole of that left foot flat in front of you between your hands. Sweep the arms forward and up. And then just back the hips up. See if you can feel this kind of vertical stack of the spine over the hips. We'll add the arms on, lift the arms forward and up. Maybe you bend the elbows. I'm interlacing my hands behind my head, kind of like a little cradle. But then I'm seeing if I can get the palms of the hands together. So it's just the heel of the hand that's holding the base of my neck. And then I press those two things into one another as I lift my chest and maybe lift the gaze. Engage the right glute and see if there's any space to shift forward slightly. Deep breath in here. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, release those hands. Step 2, high plank. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take one more breath in your down dog. Let's inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gazing forward. Make your way to the top of your mat. And the top of the mat, fingertips walk up the shins, lengthen the heart forward. Little bend in those knees so you can feel your legs engage and your navel hug into the spine. And then exhale, release, fold over the legs. Option to reach for opposite elbows, little sway side to side. Generous bend in the knees and relax the head. If you're holding on to opposite elbows, release that. Fingertips back to the shins, another halfway lift. Breathe in. From that halfway lift, stretch your arms forward. Come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And then we'll exhale the hands to the heart. Going to move through 3 traditional sun salutations. Inhale, reach the arms up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to high plank. In high plank, shift forward onto the toes. With or without the knees, come down to the belly. Press down through the tops of the feet, the palms of the hands. Inhale, lift the heart low to medium cobra. Exhale, release out of that. Making your way to downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog, 2 breath cycles. From down dog, bend the knees, lift the heels, slight gaze forward, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms forward, come all the way to standing, arms reaching overhead. Exhale, hands at the heart, pause. Twice more like that. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, make your way to high plank. Shifting forward, lower to the belly or chaturanga. Inhale, either low cobra or maybe upward dog if you're ready for that. Exhaling, make your way back. Downward facing dog. 2 breath cycles. Next inhalation, lift the heels, slight bend in the knees. Make your way forward, top of the mat. At the top of the mat, inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, press through the feet, sweep your arms forward, come all the way up to standing. Exhale the hands at the heart. One last time through Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, high plank. Inhaling forward all the way to the belly or through chaturanga. Making your way to your back bend of choice. And then moving back to downward facing dog. 2 breath cycles. All right, so we'll lift our heels, slight bend in the knees, make your way forward. Inhale, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet, come all the way up to standing. Exhale the hands at the heart, pause here for a moment, close the eyes. Feel your right foot. Feel your left foot. We're going to move into our standing poses and balancing shapes. If you do have blocks at home or like a thick stack of books or even chairs, it might be helpful to have one set of that, whatever it is, at the top of the mat and at the bottom of the mat. Turn to face me and take your feet wide on your mat. So facing me, feet wide. We'll sink the hips down into goddess stance or horse stance. So heel bones start to wiggle forward. Take a peek at your knees in relationship to your ankles. Can you see them stack vertical? And if they're too far behind you, that's going to pitch your torso forward. So heel bones walk more and more forward. See if you can sink the hips a little bit lower. Just take a moment here to place your hands on your thighs. Feel the soles of your feet on the mat. Okay, we're going to move through just standing up and reaching the arms over the head, a few breath cycles, and then sinking back to goddess stance. So with our inhale, we'll reach the arms up, straighten out through the legs. And then the exhale, we'll sit back down. Fingertips are just kind of pressing this energy and weight down into the floor. Okay, twice more like that. Inhale, reach the arms up, stand up. And then exhale, bend the knees, press the breath, the energy down with the hands. Just kind of like you're imagining that. What does that feel like? What does that look like? One more time, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, press the palms down. Let's take the hands to the waist and then relax the legs, let them go long. We're going to set up for trikonasana facing the back of the mat. So toes for you, because you're facing me, should be your right toes pointing towards the back of the mat. That left heel bone, kick it forward towards the top of the mat, okay? And so let's open up the hips a little bit. Just start to rock the hips side to side, front to back, right to left. So trikonasana, relatively 2 straight-ish legs, but with this right leg, maybe a little bend in that knee is okay. Let's just reach that right arm forward, extend it, keeping the left hand on the waist for a moment. From here, press down through both feet, engage both thighs, and then reach forward with that right hand. Maybe you grab your prop, whatever it is you're using, and place it on the inside of the ankle. Rotating the chest towards the ceiling just a little bit. See if you can get the shoulders to stack, vertical line. And then if you'd like, you can add the left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Check back in with the feet. Press those feet down, engage your quadriceps, strong legs. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. And then bring that left hand back to the hip. Turn the gaze down to face that right foot. If you're using a prop here, you might want to take it with you into half moon balancing. So this prop is going to move to the upper outer corner of the back of my mat. I'm going to shift all of my weight into my right foot so I can float my left leg up. And so just like in trikonasana, I'm trying to stack shoulders and hips vertical. If you'd like, again, you can add that arm, that left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Flex those left toes towards your face. Let's take one more breath here. And then we're going to slowly release that lifted foot back to the mat and see if we can land back towards goddess. So pivoting the feet, goddess or horse stance. Toes are turned out, heel bones are turned in. See if you can get that scoop of the tailbone under to lengthen out the low back as you sit low in your goddess. 3 breath cycles just like we did before. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, press the energy down as you bend the knees and sink the hips. Twice more, inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Hands just come back to the hips. Let the legs go long. Setting up for trikonasana, pointing the left toes towards the top of the mat. Kick that right heel towards the back of the mat. Okay, and then just mobilize the hips a little bit. Move them side to side. Notice how that feels. It might be a little bit different than it felt on the first side. Okay, looking forward, top of the mat, if you're using a prop, that's what we're aiming for. It's going to come to the inside of the front ankle. Right hand to right hip, we're just stretching out through that left arm. Engage the quadriceps, stay strong in the feet and the legs. As you reach forward, finding your prop if you're using one, place it inside of that front ankle. See if you can stay light on the hands here. Try not to really dip low into this, but rather take that top arm and reach it up towards the ceiling and engage the obliques and the core. Find your breath here. One more breath in. And then top arm comes back to the waist. You're going to look down at your left foot. If you're using a prop, you're taking it with you, upper outer corner of the mat, shifting all of that weight into the left foot so that you can float the back leg up. Keep those hips stacking open, shoulders stacking open, and then maybe you re-extend your top arm. Flex the left toes towards the face. That lifted leg stays engaged, it's active. Find your breath here. One more breath in. And then we're going to take a soft landing back to goddess stance. Bending that stabilizing leg knee. Soft landing, goddess. Turn those toes out, sink the hips down. Shift the weight side to side. Heart rate might feel a little bit lifted. That's a good sign. We're going to come forward to a wide-legged forward fold before we head to the ground. So kick those heels out. Feet are parallel with one another. Hands might come to the waist as you hinge forward from the hips. And then maybe you bring the hands right underneath the shoulders. Find a halfway lift, lengthen out through the spine. Kind of shift the weight forward and backward on the feet. Get a sense of the whole foot. You can stay right here, or if the body allows, bending at the elbows, relax the head forward and down, lengthening out through the back body. It's always okay to bend the knees, especially when we're working with things like hamstrings and low back. Let's take 3 breaths here. If you've come pretty far deep into your wide-legged fold, come back to the hands, lengthen out through the arms, find that halfway lift. And then from this shape, we're just going to come right down to our back. So you can just bend the knees, come down to the mat, and then roll over onto your back, knees bent and feet planted. We'll start by hugging the right knee into the chest and extending the left leg forward. Give that right thigh a squeeze towards the right side of the belly and rib cage. Hands can be interlaced over the shin or back of the thigh, whatever is more accessible. Start to draw little circles with that right knee. Just rolling the hip joint around in the hip socket. One more circle all the way around. And then with the left hand, you're going to pull that right knee across towards the left side until you roll all the way onto your left hip. Stretch the right arm off to the right, keeping the chest open towards the ceiling. There is no need to get the right knee onto the mat. Let go of that idea as a goal. I prefer you to work on opening the chest and wringing out the spine and letting go of any goal of getting that right knee towards the mat. Just let it be lifted. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Take one more breath. And then come back through center, bending both knees, planting both feet. Let's take a moment to reset, breathing in, breathing out. We'll hug the left knee into the chest, extend that right leg long. Give that that left knee a squeeze, thigh towards the outer belly and rib cage. And you breathe into that compression. And then start to draw those circles. Notice how this side feels. One more circle all the way around. And then with the right hand, we're going to pull that left knee across the body until you roll all the way onto that right hip. Left arm extends off to the left. See if you can keep your shoulder blades on the mat or pretty darn close to being on the mat. Can you stay unattached to how close the knee gets to the floor? It's irrelevant. Breathe into your body, breathe into your spine. Let's take 2 more breaths here in our twist. Slowly start to unwind. We'll begin to descend into Shavasana. We'll take Shavasana for 1 minute and then come up and have our breath work. Shrug your shoulders down your back. Slightly tilt your chin in towards your chest. Flex your toes towards your face. And then relax your feet. Deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. Let it rest. All right, if you want more time in Shavasana, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, gently start to move the body. When you're ready, you can come to an upright seat. Use some support so that your spine can grow tall with ease. You can sit however it's comfortable to you. So our breath for this month will be 4 count inhale, 4 count retention, 4 count exhale, 4 count hold at the bottom. Think of it like a box. 4 count inhale, 4 count retention, 4 count exhale. I did that backwards, but you know what I mean. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Okay. All right, let's sit up nice and tall. 2 neutral breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. 1 more neutral breath like that. And then 4 rounds of our box breath. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Last round, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain that breath out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that go. Neutral breath in and out through the nose. Inhaling, joining the hands together at the heart. Exhaling, bowing the chin to the chest. Taking a moment here to honor your effort and your practice with reverence and gratitude. May you remember that you will always be okay. May you find a light that guides you and keeps you safe. May you have hope, help, and happiness along the way. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining today. If that breath work felt a little bit challenging, we'll continue to practice it throughout the month so you'll get the hang of it. And it's just the idea of balancing the breath, thereby balancing the body, thereby balancing the mind. So that's why it's an equal count. Inhale, retention, exhale, retention. It's the same count because this is the idea in the yogic text and philosophy of creating balance in the body. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. I hope to have you back again soon. Take care of yourselves.